A new Beatles song has just been released with the help of Peter Jackson and some AI wizardry. What's a Beatles fan to think about this? Should we all celebrate, or should we just shake our heads in disgust at how the legacy of the Beatles is now ruined? Let's explore. Hi everyone, this is Paul Crayson, and you're watching Music Mentions. This new Beatles song is called Now and Then, and it was released in November of 2023. As a matter of fact, it was released just this morning as I'm recording this video. This song's been labeled as the last official Beatles release we're ever going to hear. So I'm just going to touch a little bit on how the song came together, explore a little bit about what it means from a fan's perspective as far as their legacy, and finally give you just an idea of my feelings about this tune. In 1994, Yoko Ono gave the remaining Beatles some John Lennon demos that she had discovered. These demos included the songs Real Love, Free as a Bird, and Now and Then. Now and Then is just John at his piano singing and playing. Supposedly this was recorded around 1977. This demo was recorded at the Lennon's residence in New York City called the Dakota. Real Love and Free as a Bird were released in December of 1995 as part of the Beatles anthology documentary that was aired at that time. There were 3 anthology albums that were spawned from the documentary. These were simply titled Anthology 1, 2, and 3. On Anthology 1, Free as a Bird was released, and on Anthology 2, we got Real Love. Now and Then was supposed to be released on Anthology 3. However, when the Beatles took a look at it, using the technology of the time, they decided that they simply couldn't clean up John's demo enough in order to release it. Then we fast forward to 2021, and Peter Jackson releases the Get Back Beatles documentary. It was because of this documentary and the AI-supported audio restoration technology that was employed that the Beatles, or the remaining Beatles that is, had decided now they could release Now and Then upon the world. And just as an interesting side note, Paul McCartney mentioned that George had told him that he thought Now and Then, back when they were working on the anthology series, was fucking rubbish, quote unquote. The timing of the release of Now and Then has been coordinated to be released right around the time that both the Blue and the Red compilation Beatles albums are being re-released. Those albums originally came out in 1973. Now, the re-releases, they have expanded each of those compilation albums by adding additional songs. Now and Then is included on the Blue compilation album. Notably, these Red and Blue re-releases include Giles Martin's remixes of all of those famous Beatles songs. So let's talk a little bit about Now and Then. It's 4 minutes, 8 seconds long, and the recording quality is excellent. I mean, it's really, really good and very modern, if not a little too modern. It seems, at least to me, that there's a little bit too much polish on this song, but regardless, it sounds amazing. Everything is beautifully balanced, the mix is dead on, and you can tell there was a lot of effort and a lot of time that went into this one last Beatles song. The first time I heard the song, it was a little spooky to me to hear John Lennon's voice in the context of this new song. The mood of the instrumentation is surprisingly upbeat, considering the song is in a minor key, and it's really about a lovelorn John who's missing someone. Lennon's voice is immediately up front in the mix on that first verse. It really kind of grabs you by the throat, and then as the song kind of moves on, there's some background vocals, I'm assuming by Paul, that are shadowing John, And it almost seems like they might have done a little bit of vocal doubling on John's voice as well, but it's very, very slight. There's some slide guitar that's played by Paul and a couple of points in the song, and he said he wanted to honor George's style. The slide guitar sounds great in the context of the overall song. If not, it's a little simple, but it's well done, and it sounds like a Beatles guitar. I found that about 2/3 of the way into the song, it felt that the song lifted up even a little bit more. The strings became a little bit more prominent, and I find that last third of the song was pretty damn good. What especially caught my ear are the strings and the background vocals throughout the track. I think that they did those great, although I also got this sense that they overdid the strings a little bit, but it's a minor complaint. I can live with overdoing the strings a little bit. I think the strings work really well in the context of the tune. And if you listen very, very closely to the end of the track, in a very faint voice, you're going to hear someone say, "Good one." It sounds to me like that was Ringo's voice. I don't know if anyone knows if I'm right on this or not. Let me know in the comments if I'm right. It sounds more like Ringo than it sounds like Paul. So what's a Beatles fan to think about this in the context of their legacy? The Beatles are the most universally loved and talked about band of all time. And because of this, opinions are definitely going to run hot about this song and whether it should have been made in the first place and whether technology should have been employed and whether it's any good. Looking through many reactions from music forums online, it seems like the majority of the people are perfectly fine with the song and they're happy that it's out, even knowing that an AI assisted technology was used to get this thing actually birthed. However, I also ran into not a few comments along the lines of, "It's terrible, it's a stain on the Beatles' legacy, they never should have done this," etc., etc. There were many comments like this, but they were not the majority. I guess that's just par for the course when you're going to release something as controversial as a new Beatles song in 2023. You're always going to have your music purists that come out of the woodwork and the haters. I recently recorded a video about music and AI and what it all means. And honestly, I just look at AI as another tool that musicians and composers can use, albeit an incredibly powerful tool, but one that they can use to make more music and possibly even better music. That was the general gist of the video. For me, what's really important is the end result. I don't care if you're using phasers, you're using delays, using octave pedals, or doubling vocalists' vocals. As long as the end result is something that connects with me at an emotional or a human level, that it makes me feel something. And that goes for AI as well. I don't consider myself a purist when it comes to recorded music, simply because there's always been some kind of technology used in order to get that song into your ears. Overall, I like Now and Then. It's certainly a better song than Free as a Bird or Real Love. And it sounds like the Beatles for the most part. The only thing that really kind of throws me off is kind of that modern production sheen, although the sound is amazing. I don't think I'm going to be skipping the song in the future. It's certainly better than something like Wild Honey Pie or Revolution 9. Yes, the Beatles actually made some shitty songs too back in the day. This one, I think, is pretty darn good, and the melody is catchy. I have to say that after listening to it several times, I found myself humming at the melody line. Crucially for me, I'm just very grateful to have another Beatles song to listen to, and one that's pretty darn decent. If I was going to grade this Beatles song against their other ones, I would say it's a C or a C plus Beatles song, which is saying something. In my opinion, this song is easily an A plus when you compare it to most of the crap that we've got on the Billboard 100 in 2023, that's for sure. In the span of less than 2 weeks, we actually got new music from both the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. So let the haters hate, because in this time of economic and political turmoil with World War III seemingly around the corner, all I know is that we've got new Stones, we've got new Beatles, and that is enough to put a smile on my face and know that things are going to get better in the end. I'm Paul Crayson. You've been watching Music Mentions. Thanks everybody for checking out this video. If you want me to make more videos like this, please give me a like or a subscribe or hit the notifications. Until next time, we'll see ya.